Okay, in this video, let's talk about fractions. Another name for fractions is rational numbers. All right, so um, if you ever hear a professor or somebody that's talking about math and they say rational number, they're talking about fractions, okay? So the basic form of a fraction would be something like this, a divided by b, okay? All right, where b cannot equal 0, okay? B cannot equal 0. All right, let me just say that one more time. B cannot equal 0 because say you had 1 divided by 0, that's undefined, okay? So b cannot equal 0. All right, so a and b would be integers, all right? Integers, if you don't know what those are negative numbers, zeros, and then positive numbers. So it could be from negative infinity to positive infinity, and then 0 as well for A. Not for B. 0 can never be for B, but you can have any negative number for B or any positive number for B, okay? And it's interesting to note, it's important to note, that all integers are fractions, all right? You can have, a fraction say as 1 divided by 2, right? That's a fraction, and that's obvious. But what if you had like 3, all right? 3 is also a rational number or a fraction because you could do 3 divided by 1. Or if you think outside the box, you could say 3 equals 6 divided by 2, all right? So 3 could be a fraction, all right? Okay, so let's go back and let's talk about the rational number and the components of a fraction. So you got a and b. A is the numerator, okay? And a represents the total number of equal parts out of the total number of parts, okay? So I guess a good way to explain this is, say you had a pizza, okay? And you divided that pizza into, all right, doesn't look perfect, but let's say these are all equal. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 pieces, okay? There are 8 equal pieces, hopefully. And if you get this one right here, all right, oh, this one right here, I should say, that's the one you get, then you would have 1/8 of a pizza, okay? And that 1 represents, again, the total number of equal parts that you have, all right, out of the total number of parts. And that brings us down to the denominator. The denominator is this b right here, or the 8 here, and that represents the total number of equal parts, all right? There's 8 equal parts in this pizza here. And so 8 represents how many equal parts there are, okay? In an item, how many equal parts there are in an item. And in this case, we have a pizza here, so there's 8 equal parts, all right? And so if you eat one slice, you have 1/8 of the pizza. If you eat another slice, then you have another 1/8 of the pizza, all right? And if you eat another slice, you have another 1/8 of the pizza, all right? And when you add these together, if the denominator is the same, we'll get to this later, but if the denominator is the same, which is here's 8, 8, and 8, then all you're plussing is the numerator. So then you have 3/8, which is true. You have 3 pieces, 3 equal pieces out of the 8 pieces. You have 3 pieces out of the 8 pieces. Each of those 3 pieces are equal to each other, and then there's another 5 pieces that each one of those 5 pieces is equal to one of your 3 pieces, okay? So let's just say that one more time because it's worth repeating. the denominator is, it represents the total number of equal parts of the item that, or the number that you have. So in this case it's pizza, so 8 represents the total number of equal pieces that pizza has, okay? And the numerator represents the total number of equal pieces that you actually have, okay? Or I guess it's another way of saying it is the total number of equal parts out of the total number of parts, total number of equal parts of the item. All right. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much the best I can do when it comes to explaining the difference between the numerator and the denominator. If you give me a comment, if it's not quite clear and you want me to explain it better, just put it in the comments and I'll read them and I'll see if I can't improve the definition. Okay? All right. Let's talk about equivalent fractions. Okay? What is an equivalent fraction? All right. So let's look at some of these. Let's look at say we have 1/3. All right, what's an equivalent fraction to 1/3? Well, an equivalent fraction to 1/3, okay, would be something like 3/9. That would be equivalent fraction. Another equivalent fraction would be something like 4/12. Okay. All right. So to find an equivalent fraction, you must. All right. That's a key thing. You must multiply or divide the numerator and the denominator by the same non-zero number. Okay. So let me repeat that. You must multiply or divide the numerator and the denominator, both of them, the numerator and the denominator, by the same non-zero number. So in this case, the reason this is an equivalent fraction of 1/3 is because what we did is we have 1 divided by 3, and if we times this by top and bottom by 3, then what we get is this 3/9, which we have up there. All right, and then this was times by 4. 1 times 4 equals 4. 3 times 4 equals 12. Okay, so that is how you find an equivalent fraction by multiplication. But say you wanted to find it by division, well, you're just going to do the opposite, and I'll show you. So, for example, say you have 6/8. Okay. All right. So let's write that in different color. 6/8. Okay. All right. So how are we going to change that? All right. So let's look at some equivalent fractions. Let's look at just one equivalent fraction. In fact, let's look at 3/4. Okay. 3/4 is the same as 6/8. And how do I know that? Well, the way I know that is if I take 6/8, and if I divide 6/8, top and bottom, the numerator and the denominator, if I divide that by 2, well, 6 divided by 2 is going to be 3, and 8 divided by 2 is going to be 4. Okay, so that's equivalent fractions. In the next video, we're going to talk about reducing a fraction and how to do that, and we'll also talk about the greatest common factor and the least common denominator, and so forth and so forth. All right, take care. Hope to see you on the next video.